Rosenquist, who gets a great start in the Acura Grand Prix of Long Beach. The Meyer-Shank Honda leads them down the front straight.
The Fro Show with the jump. Watch the yellow and red car of Alex Palou looking 3 wide, but Will Power to the outside.
Power sweeps around and gets Rosenquist in turn 1.
They get through turn 1 fine. Now it's the fountain side by side. Doesn't normally work here. Christian Lundgaard slotting in behind Scott Dixon, being smart about it here. So far, the fireworks have not happened.
But up front, that's exactly what Rosenquist told us. He wasn't going to challenge too hard. I think, you got to be so careful to let Will Power control the pace. Power now can drive as slow as he needs to protect his softer Firestone tires.
And it was pretty cagey of Power to tuck in behind Rosenquist nice and early at the start to get that toe.
It was a great jump from Rosie, but it's a long run down to turn 1. Again, this guy's won here before. He knows how to get it done. He's on those softer tires. He knew he had to pounce early, and that's exactly what he's done. But the question is, can his teammate Joseph Newgarden in third right there, the black and white Hitachi Chevy, can he put any moves on Felix to try to keep Will Power within sight?
Well, speaking of Will Power, I think I would be on the radio as there's trouble in the hairpin for Christian Rasmussen. Got all checked up. It almost looks like he kicked into anti-stall.
Yeah, when the revs drop too low, that motor will save itself from stalling by going into an anti-stall. It essentially finds a neutral. You've got to grab the clutch and then release it again to get going. He was side by side with one of the Hunkos Hollinger cars, just kind of tightened up the exit for him, and that's what started it.
So just to finish the point, Diff, with Will Power, do you get on the radio right away and start saying, hey, slow it down. We don't need to open up a gap here. Just protect your alternates, keep the lead.
I think so, absolutely, because you know what would be very much, Marty, in the minds of all Team Penske drivers is what happened to Joseph Newgarden here last year when he led early. Good inside move there, well done. Diving on the inside, that was
Kyle
Kirkwood in the Andretti Global Honda. Marty?
Diff, that was already in the playbook for Will Power and his team. Ron Rzuski, as strategist, said if we can get to the front, has more passing back in the field. If they could get to the front for Power, they wanted to take it easy, but they thought being on these alternates was their best shot, Hinch, to be able to jump on the start and get around Felix Rosenquist, and it worked.
Wow, Rinus VK just absolutely chewed up Alexander Rossi, who might have a problem because the number 7 McLaren car looked slow and he immediately came to pit lane.
Yeah, you see now on board with Rossi in the 7 into pit lane. This is not a scheduled stop, Dylan.
They had a left rear issue that they saw on the data, and this hurts because they had started on the alternates. I guess it's a good thing because they're done with them now. They'll go to sticker primaries here, but a lot of ground to make up for Rossi.
Of course, the rules dictate you have to run each tire compound in the race. Let's see on board now. This is Pato O'Ward. That's Alex in front of him. Oh, hit by his own teammate in the fountain. And you heard the anti-stall kick in there for Pato. That's where the damage came from. That is not good.
Right front wing end fence carbon fiber blade got right into Rossi's rear tire. We've seen that so many times.
So there is Pato O'Ward in the number 5, the Arrow McLaren Chevy. Let's go to the hairpin. Here's Dylan Welsh.
It is dicey down here already. And Townsend, you nailed it. Rasmussen a couple laps ago got into anti-stall. For now, everybody pretty civilized through here and starting to spread out. So it's amazing how close they're getting. Right here when they come by us, I can reach out and about touch these guys right there.
Don't drop your iPad, mate.
Yeah, Dylan, don't turn your back to the IndyCars. They're literally 14 inches away.
Race control, by the way, is looking at the 5 and the 7. Pato O'Ward and his teammate Alexander Rossi. So Will Power leads his teammate Joseph Newgarden, and then Marcus Ericsson. Felix Rosenquist, the pole man, has dropped back to 4th. Then Colton Herter, Alex Palou, his teammate Scott Dixon, and then Kyle Kirkwood, Lundgaard, and Armstrong in the top 10. Let's show you this move for 3rd place. Here is Marcus Ericsson on fellow Swede.
Just clinical stuff, textbook up the inside there, no defense from Rosenquist.
Inside one only.
And Ericsson, you know, he was one of the stars of the show last year at Long Beach, finished 3rd after being dropped down the order a little bit. He is very comfortable at this racetrack, and it is showing right now. Highest running Andretti Global car as he slots into a podium position, just the 2 Penske's in front.
Oh, Christian Rasmussen. Heavy into the wall. That looks like the exit of turn 4, maybe.
Yeah, I think it is, guys. We've seen a lot of drivers clip the exit of turn 4, never with these consequences, though.
Yeah, it broke mid-corner there.
First caution of the race, and First big moment we've seen for the rookie. That's Jack Harvey in the Invest Honda for Dale Coyne Racing. Damage there. Rasmussen had done well in qualifying. What a shame. Let's have a look what went down.
That's a very bizarre. He said it just broke, and I think he means something in the car
I think
broke.
the left rear suspension looks like the...
I wonder if he clipped a wall maybe earlier in the lap.
It's a good point.
I don't see any mark on the tire, though. I didn't see that, but that was a very, very quick turnaround, and Jack Harvey, just an innocent victim there, nowhere to go. And significant damage to the Dale Coyne Racing entry.
It's just the back end of the pod. I feel like for Harvey, they could tape that up. But yeah, I'm looking at... Oh, it looks like the right rear maybe had an issue.
Poor old Jack Harvey, he was trying to get by as swiftly as he could, but that gap was narrowing very rapidly. And this talented youngster, that marks the end of his first ever Acura Long Beach Grand Prix.
Riding on board with Will Power back at Long Beach, who has led all but 2 laps today. And under this caution, Ron Rzuski made the call to bring Will Power to pit road. Only a handful of cars came to pit road, though, and there were several that stayed out. The reason the other cars stayed out, it would be a massive fuel save to make it to the end of the race on one more stop. If you could make it to the end of the race on one more stop, they might need caution, but this is really going to change the game up here at Long Beach, Stiff.
Sure is. It really is. And
Well, that could have went either way, bud. So I think this is going to be the right call.
there you go. Just
Copy.
Keyword, I
Good.
think. I think this is going to be the right call.
Yeah.
Listen, for Team Penske, they got split strategies, right?
Sure.
You're covered with Newgarden, you're covered with Will Power. I promise you, though, one of the two is going to be really mad at the end of this race and wish they would have done the opposite at this exact moment. Good news for race fans. We've got a race on our hands now. This is going to be fun to watch because Will Power has to save mad fuel, but he's been mad fast without even trying so far.
And ultimately, you've got these split strategies, these 2 different strategies, but you have 2 of the best in the business on that alternate strategy leading it, Will Power and Scott Dixon. And look, Christian Lundgaard and Kyle Kirkwood as well, no slouches on street courses. They've both won at tracks like this. Kirkwood's won here. So now we have a very interesting situation to play out, but ultimately, guys, nobody knows what's going to happen. You cannot predict how the yellows are going to fall. The team had to make this decision, and it's great that they were able to split it.
Now, even though Power's going to be in mad fuel save mode, circumstances change a little bit later where he can go to the gas a bit harder. He is the only driver in the field who has yet to use any push to pass because he hasn't had to.
But push to pass gives you more power, but it also burns more fuel. So that's going to be a challenge for him to think through. Let's look at something that happened on pit road with the 45 here, Christian
On your
Lundgaard.
left, on your left, on your left, on your left.
And there's Kyle Kirkwood. A little bit of a cuddle there.
Whoa, whoa.
I think they'll be all right, but that could have been a race ender for either one.
It's such a tight pit lane here at Long Beach. It's easy for that sort of thing to happen. Race control usually frowns upon contact in pit lane, but I think kind of no harm, no foul on that one.
Joseph Newgarden led 27 laps in this Acura Grand Prix last year, but did not drive to victory lane. It was a strategy that kind of went upside down and backwards on him. So do they have another chance to right a wrong from last year? We go back racing here at the Acura Grand Prix of Long Beach. And the last 2 guys to win the last 2 Indianapolis 500s are first and second in this race.
Team Penske, and then Andretti as Ericsson and Herta looking pretty racy down shoreline.
We saw Joseph Newgarden almost doing his Indy 500 trick, trying to weave down the front straightaways. We see Lundgaard making a move there on Kyle Kirkwood into turn 1.
Exiting turn 8. This is the back straight, the run up to turn 9. Remember that really bumpy approach here. It's caused so many undone. Look, see the bumps there on Newgarden. Herta, hello in that bright red and yellow DHL Honda.
It's these 2 guys right here on that alternate strategy. Will Power in the black and white car, Scott Dixon in the blue and orange. They're racing each other for effectively the lead of the alternate strategy, even though they're down in 12th and 13th place right now.
And wouldn't it be just like Scott Dixon to just sneak his way over good pit stops and good racecraft on that alternate strategy? Dixon runs second. 51 there, and Nolan Siegel battling it out with, I think, Alexander Rossi. Was that Pocher? No, that's Rossi.
But Pocher's a couple up the road. So good showing from the young Frenchman in his first IndyCar race. Marty, he's coming your way. This is an agonizing wait because this is such a lengthy pit lane here at Long Beach, off-camper pit lane. The road slopes towards the wall there, and he's right in his box.
Yeah, you use a very long pit road here at Long Beach, and it does feel agonizing. The drivers will tell you. Joseph Newgarden going to alternate tires, a little bit of a wing change. Actually, he said he didn't know what are we doing here? What tires are we going to? So that's when he made the call for the wing change. You see also Marcus Ericsson leaving his pit stall with the alternate tires as well. And that's what we wondered when Rosenqvist pitted. Would it bring everybody else down pit road, Kevin? The answer is yes.
I think this strategy for this group is going to play into the hands of Alex Palou. We all know he is good at saving tires. They just ask him, how are the tires? He said, they're fine. So he is going to likely in this group stay out longer than anyone else, cycle to the front, and have a chance, at least as far as this strategy is concerned, with about half the field.
So these two drivers here, Colton Herta and Alex Palou, doing the overcut. They saved enough fuel to get an extra 1 lap for Palou, at least now 2 for Colton, running those fast laps on hot tires while the drivers they were racing are on out laps on cold tires. It's hard to get that lap time, Kev. This is going to be an important stop for these cars.
So Herta stays out the longest in this group. Palou is coming down from primary Firestones. He's got the alternates. These are softer, these are faster. This is a sticker, brand new set. Can anybody make them last an entire stint? Everybody's money is on Alex Palou. He's out.
Where does he blend as Joseph Newgarden rounds the hairpin, back on shoreline, up to speed on hot tires? I think Newgarden will be easily to the front. But Colton Herta, fastest car on the racetrack right now. He's got the fastest lap of the race. He's turning low 108s. There goes Newgarden. There goes Palou into P2. But Ericsson's on hot tires, so this could get pretty feisty through the tight section.
Ericsson's had a really savvy opening, more than third of this race, and now he's on the attack against Alex Palou. Here we go.
Absolutely mission critical here for Ericsson to get around the 10 car. He's going to be on the push to pass. You see the green lights light up. He tries to stay to the inside, but big defense from Palou. Can he do the over-under?
Nice job from Palou. Gave the driver no option. Gave Ericsson no option. This looks like last year with O'Ward and Dixon.
Oh. Whoa. I would have tried to square him up and get him on the run down to turn 9, T, but I don't know. But now Herta's in the pits.
Fantastic racing on the track, diff, and now action on pit road. Colton Herta coming in. Rob Everett doing that overcut, running a little bit longer. There was a debate and a last-second change on the tires as well. They went to sticker alternate tires. They almost put on the used alternate tires for Colton Herta. Let's see where he cycles out in all this traffic.
So is this the opportunity gone for Marcus Ericsson? Here comes Colton
Herta.
Herta.
I think Newgarden just went through turn 1.
Herta should duck out ahead of these two.
So Herta back to P2, but on cold tires. So Palou with his head down and temperature now in his Firestones, trying to catch the young American.
Just want to go back to these two former teammates. Was that too much respect shown by this guy to the champ?
No, not at all. Ericsson in a podium potential position today. He knows from his teammate, or his former teammate, Scott Dixon, it's all about maximizing points. Smart decision.
But look at how the overcut played out. Ericsson pitted first, lost spots to both Herta and Palou. Palou pitted next, lost a spot to Colton Herta. Herta stayed out the longest. He gained the most. The overcut works here at Long Beach.
Here's Dixon. The PNC Bank Honda on pit road. Kevin Lee's there.
And this is not enough as Will Power also hits the pit lane here at this point. So we think they needed another 2 or 3 laps to be able to get home the rest of the way. It's likely going to take a caution. Used alternates, Marty, for Dixon.
Scott Dixon is the master, Kevin, making time but saving fuel as he leaves his stall. Will Power was able to match what Scott Dixon did on the track as well. They asked him at one point late in the run, can you save us more? He said, I cannot give you any more than I'm giving you right now. They too going to use primary tires Will Power. And here's the thing, 34 laps to go. They still have to save to be able to make it to the end for sure.
They will be crossing everything they can for a caution over these closing 34 laps as Dixon rejoins right in front of Théo Pourchaire.
Here you go. You got a driver in his very first IndyCar race up against the 6-time champion. How aggressive is Théo going to be here?
Well, and Scott Dixon not remotely interested in letting the rookie by. He needs the track position. He needs clean air to make his fuel save mastery work here. Long way to stretch this stint, Hinch. Newgarden is going to be pushing so hard on these 2 laps.
Joseph Newgarden comes slowly down pit road here. They're going to go to used alternate tires for Newgarden. And Tim Cindric told him a while ago, think about that. That's what we're going to have for the end of this race. And I think teams have been a little surprised how well these alternate tires for Firestone have held on this weekend. Newgarden bidding with 27 laps to go. A quick stop by the Penske bunch. The wing change Newgarden wanted. We'll see where he cycles out. And when the other drivers on that primary strategy come down pit road.
Well, I think he's going to cycle out near his teammate here, Will Power. Power on that alternate strategy like Dixon. So what happens when the teammates meet here in turn 1? It's Newgarden to the front, but on cold tires. Power, however, has to save gas to make it to the end. So this helps Newgarden that he had a nice clean stop, and now he can go as fast as possible without anybody in front except lap traffic.
27 laps to go. And for Joseph Newgarden, who has the best statistical record here over the past 6 years, he stood on the podium 4 times, including a win. Why wouldn't the sun be shining on number 2, the Hitachi Chevy? With the years going on, this guy's just got better and better at this venue. Here comes the Delaware Life Honda, Marcus Ericsson. Marty, he's heading your way.
Boy, Diff, after a messy first 2 days here in Long Beach for Marcus Ericsson and Andretti Global, it has been a flawless race day so far, keeping in the top 5 the entire time. Very few complaints about the handling of the car. Felix Rosenqvist also on pit road at the Gary Hamilton pit road. That number 2 pit stall for Felix Rosenqvist. They're heading back out on the racetrack. And once again, take note, Colton Herta and his team running longer than everybody else. Hinch, what's that advantage on this next run for Colton Herta?
It just gives you that advantage of running on hot tires at a fast pace while everyone else coming out of the pits is struggling to get up to speed on those cold Firestones. That overcut technique has worked every round of stops so far on both strategies, and Colton Herta doing a great job saving as much fuel as he has been. Another lap by to the 26.
When he won here a couple of years ago, he said it wasn't the fact that he won, it was the way that he won. Herta came from 14th on the grid. He was so proud of that victory and would dearly love to do it again. How's it going to play out over these closing 25 laps? Here's Grosjean and the 60 of Felix Rosenqvist, the pole sitter.
The thing that just blows me away is you look at Power and Dixon on that same strategy, but it was a 10-second difference between the two as Dixon, car's in, Dylan, that's Rossi.
Yeah, and he's on the comeback trail. Remember, after that lap 1 tire puncture, scum alternate tires for Rossi to the end.
That gap between Joseph Newgarden and Will Power we're showing down to 3 seconds. And Dixon to Newgarden at about 6 seconds. So with Newgarden seemingly about a second plus a lap quicker, guys, the Dixon-Newgarden story, that Ganassi versus Penske battle is going to be great down the stretch. We think Dixon will catch him, Newgarden will catch him. The question is, can he get by? Here comes Colton Herta for his last stop, Kev.
And Alex Palou is right behind him, but Herta gapped him by about 7/10 on the last 2 laps. It's used alternates for Alex Palou for the final stop, Marty.
Kevin, keep in mind, Andretti Global went down to 3 teams this year. Rob Edwards told me this morning it has massively helped our pit stops. Colton Herta needs a quick one here. He leaves pit road already, going to those alternate used tires for Colton Herta. A quick stop for this bunch. Let's see where he cycles out in the middle of that traffic.
There goes Scott Dixon, but here comes Joseph Newgarden, gets around the 66 of Tom Blomqvist, and there you see Herta and Palou. So Newgarden is clear of the drivers that are on effectively his same strategy. For Newgarden, it's go get Scott Dixon.
This is the race leader, Scott Dixon in the PNC Bank Honda for Chip Ganassi Racing, but for how much longer, T-Bell?
Can he hang on? The master of going fast, burning the least amount of fuel. Scott Dixon, you can see the gap, about 4 tenths, sometimes 8 tenths. Marty, the Hitachi driver, is coming. He's got nothing to conserve. Leave it all on the table here at Long Beach.
Townsend, as you can imagine, after that round of pit stops, Joseph Newgarden kind of wanted to reset the field, so he asked Tim Cindric, hey, help me understand what the playing field looks like right now. And he said, Dixon is ahead of you, but he is on such a big fuel save. He has 104 seconds of push to pass, and he probably can't use any of it for the rest of the race. So Newgarden slowly making his way there. Hinch, my question is, Dixon's got almost a 3-second lead up the road. Is that a big enough lead to hang on for 19 more laps?
19 laps is a lot of laps, Marty. I don't know. The gap in lap time we're seeing between these two, you just saw it on that graphic.
He's really having a save here. Be patient. Herta's got 44 on his butt behind him.
Yeah, Joseph is coming. Be patient is exactly right, because he can use all 33 seconds of his push and pass once he catches up to the 9 car.
It's like being in a shootout, but your ammo's under padlock. You have it, but you can't use it. But don't count out Scott Dixon.
Yeah, I don't think this is a layup either, Townsend. Tim Cindric several times has said, be patient. Also has told him, Townsend, to take care of the right front tire. Are they seeing maybe a temperature they don't like on that for Joseph Newgarden?
Well, just to make things a little more crazy here, lap traffic about to be a factor. Scott Dixon starting to come up on the 14 of Ferrucci as Scott McLaughlin with Team Penske off the pace over in turn 6.
What has happened to the Odyssey battery Chevy? Weekend started in promising fashion for McLaughlin. He was frustrated after not making it through to the next phase in qualifying. Knew that he had more and should have been higher up on the grid and maybe make it to the Firestone Fast 6. That didn't happen. And then now he is limping home. He got a podium at the season opener in St. Pete. That is far from happening here. Meanwhile, back on board with his teammate. Newgarden in pursuit of the lead. 14 to go.
And guys, I just checked as they crossed the line. Dixon did burn a couple more seconds of push to pass on that last lap, so he is just ever so slightly using a little bit as Newgarden battling a little bit oversteer there.
So does he know that he can hold Joseph off through the back section and just uses it on Shoreline Drive?
Yeah, I mean, for sure, that's where you want to use it in the defense. As you said, I mean, he's running great lap times for the fuel he's saving. Through the twisty bits, he's fast. Yeah. It's just on the straights he has to lift so early.
So Newgarden might have more fuel to use, but he does not have clean air to help him. Don't forget, an IndyCar punches a big turbulent hole in this Southern California air.
3.5 to Herta. He's got 91 on his butt.
And now Tim Cindric giving Newgarden Herta updates.
There he is. Here they come, and he's dragging Alex Palou along with him. This 2-car fight could very quickly become a 4-car fight in the closing 10 laps. Pick your winner, because it could be anybody. Is it Scott Dixon in the orange and blue PNC Bank Honda? Here comes Joseph Newgarden up into turn 9. He knows the pressure's coming from behind in Colton Herta, and there is traffic up ahead.
Yep, you've got rookie Kiffin Simpson, then Nolan Siegel in the red-white car, Santino Ferrucci, and Newgarden stalls in the hairpin.
Oh my goodness, Herta and Palou just stopping.
Unbelievable development as Dixon now trying to get through this traffic going by Santino Ferrucci. Here's a replay of what happened to the two.
Oh. Hit up the back by Colton Herta. And don't forget, the gearbox actuator is on the right-hand side of the gearbox. And you remember in Nashville when we saw this a couple years ago?
That's going to be an interesting one for race control to look at, but that's just kind of just kind of rubbing. I mean, it wasn't intentional, certainly, but it did have an impact. But now Joseph down 2 spots, a massive amount of breathing room for Scott Dixon. He's already got 1 car now in between himself and Colton Herta.
The 2 guys who live nearby in Nashville, Tennessee, may be having a midweek conversation. Herta into Newgarden, perhaps taking the win option away for the Hitachi Chevy driver. The Gainbridge Honda's now in second. Can Dixon pull off this victory?
Scott Dixon right now, by virtue of that bad luck for Joseph Newgarden, would move up 7 spots in the championship to second behind Newgarden. So championship points already being considered.
You heard the call from Rob Edwards, 2 to go, 38 left. That's Dixon's push to pass. That was a full pull for Colton Herta down the front straight. Dixon only burned 2 seconds on that previous lap. Herta now down to 17, 36 for Dixon.
They don't have to worry about gap anymore. Colton Herta is there.
It just shows you that clean air is king.
Man, and Dixon, a great driver, and Chip Ganassi Racing, a great team. I mean, you look at the minimum speed flow at the number 9 and all these right-hand corners on the streets, and they're making great grip for the end of a very long stint.
Dixon was already racing here at Long Beach in Indy Lights when Colton Herta was born. That's the disparity between these 2 guys, but there is no disparity in the skill level. These 2 guys are at the top of their game. There might be a couple of decades between them in terms of their time on the planet, but this is going to be a phenomenal final 2 miles. Here we go. Dixon versus Herta. 2 Honda-powered cars. Chip Ganassi Racing up against Andretti Global.
Use everything you got now.
Use everything you got is the call.
Talk about good news from your box. Mike Hall telling Scott Dixon, burn some gas, go for it. Lay down a flyer to close this thing out.
I still can't believe.
We'll say, how does he do it?
Even Scott Dixon, I shouldn't be surprised, but this one was one of the tallest orders I've ever seen to save that much fuel, keep that pace, still have the ability to burn the push to pass when needed, and boy did he need it over this last stint of the race. Absolutely remarkable.
If Scott Dixon can hang in there for the length of this back straight to turn 9, he is as good as home. Here it is, turn 9. You know, he's laid back, he takes everything in his stride, but he is very intense inside that helmet. Scott Dixon, it took him 9 tries to win here at Long Beach. He's had podiums since, but he's going to go back to the winner's circle. Scott Dixon wins the Acura Grand Prix of Long Beach in the most improbable way.
Nicely done, nicely done.
An incredible Long Beach win for Scott Dixon and Chip Ganassi Racing. Not even sure where to start with this one. What an amazing win. I guess my question is, how?
That was tough. That was real tough. Honestly, I didn't think we were going to make it. They kept giving me a number, and it just wasn't getting... I was close, but not enough. So, luckily, we were on the safe side there, but huge credit to everybody on the PNC Bank number 9. Obviously, can't thank Honda enough. Home race here at the Acura Grand Prix, all the Honda employees here. And today was really fun driving my Honda. So hopefully we can keep doing this year, but it was huge.
So to that point, as Chip Ganassi comes in for a hug, that one deserves a celebration. To that point, Scott, how many times did you say there's no way this is going to happen?
Joseph was coming strong, and I was kind of unsure how he was going to be once he got behind us. But I also knew that he'd been burning the tires off too. But Chip came on, he's like, just go for it, man. And I was like, I'm going to try, but so cool. Obviously, you have Bill Demchek here too from PMC, so huge event. Got to say hi to everybody back home in New Zealand and in the UK, Emma and the kids. And obviously, this one I'm going to dedicate to Sir Colin Giltrap. Obviously, help him start my career. We lost him this week, unfortunately, but huge thank you to him and all the support back home.
Yeah, Diff mentioned that, and we can tell the emotion in your voice. You've had some amazing runs in your career, saving fuel, making lap time. Where does this one rank for you? Is it at the top?
Well, yeah,
of difficulty.
It was way up there, man, because the stress level was high. You know, those guys were coming fast and strong. Obviously, I think we were kind of off by a lap or two of making it easy. I think other fuel races I've done have had it under control for the whole stint, but I saw Joseph coming. I was like, man, this is going to be really tough. And don't know what happened there, but I knew Colton was going to be strong. And last 2 laps, team came on and said, just go for it. We got plenty of fuel, and away we went, man.
And was the burnout just kind of a show off? I've got a little bit more.
Yeah, we made it back to the pits, man. We had loads left.
Scott Dixon, an incredible win here at Long Beach.
Up next, it's the Children's of Alabama Indy Grand Prix, Sunday, April 28th. Watch it at 1 p.m. on NBC.